strike me funny.
Oh, hello, Will.
He said what?
He said that ice cream you gave me was a down payment on a husband. He said that tain't be.
Time of need.
Bless 'em. They want my last days to be happy ones. Oh, there's no telling how long it'll be.
There's something special about Mayberry that transcends generations. Millions of people around the world laughed at Barney Fife's antics, were moved by Sheriff Andy Taylor's wisdom, and felt at home in Aunt Bee's kitchen. For 8 years, from 1960 to 1968, The Andy Griffith Show wasn't just a television program. It was a refuge, a place where problems were simple, people were good, and everything always worked out before the final credits. Are you enjoying this story, The Andy Griffith Show? Then help the channel with your subscription. Look, 94.8% of the people who watch these videos are still not subscribed to the channel. If you are part of that group, take the chance and subscribe now. It's free, and that way you'll keep receiving amazing stories from TV shows we still miss. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one, The Andy Griffith Show. More than 50 years later, the series continues to air daily, winning over new fans who never lived through that era but feel an inexplicable nostalgia for something they never knew. The opening with Andy and Opie walking to go fishing, that unmistakable whistle, the tranquility of that fictional North Carolina town. All of it became part of the American collective imagination. But the real story behind those cameras is as dramatic as any episode you've ever watched. And the truth is more shocking than you imagined. Let's start with something few people know. Those iconic scenes between Andy and Barney at the sheriff's office. Those slow, natural dialogues that defined the series' unique rhythm weren't planned. Ron Howard, Little Opie, revealed decades later the secret. Those moments happened when the episode was running short on time. The show needed to fill exactly 26 minutes. Several times on the last night of filming for the week, producer Aaron Rubin would rush down to Andy Griffith and whisper, "We're short." Andy would then call Don Knotts by his real first name, Jesse, which Don hated, and shout, "Jesse, we're short." "Come on." What followed was pure improvised magic. The two would talk quickly about any topic and then, without a script, create those memorable moments you love so much. The naturalness you felt wasn't just acting. It was genuine friendship captured under last-minute pressure. But this friendship hides a betrayal that cut deep. From the beginning, Andy Griffith was categorical. 5 years, and he was out. Don Knotts signed a 5-year contract alongside him, both aligned. As the 5th year approached, Don received an offer from Universal Pictures to make films. It was the chance of his lifetime. Don went to Andy and explained the situation. Andy agreed. After all, they had a deal. But then Andy changed his mind. He decided to continue with the show. Don was left in an impossible position. He had already signed with Universal, had already made plans based on his best friend's word. The betrayal was silent but devastating. Don Knotts left the series at the end of the 5th season, exactly as originally planned. He won 5 Emmys for playing Barney Fife, but the greater prize, his best friend's loyalty, was denied when he needed it most. Don never spoke openly about it, but his daughter Karen years later revealed the pain. Put yourself in his place. That show was very hard work. Imagine the intensity and the level of perfection that was being sought. Andy carried that guilt silently until the end of his days. But there were other tensions simmering behind the scenes. Frances Bavier, the lovable Aunt Bee, actually couldn't stand Andy Griffith. She was a classically trained actress from New York, educated at Columbia University, from a wealthy family. For her, acting was serious work requiring discipline. Andy, on the other hand, kept the set in constant chaos with his elaborate pranks. He loved lighting firecrackers and throwing them near people who were napping. Once he hung duck guts in George Lindsay's dressing room while he slept. He'd drop metal film canisters near Don Knotts to startle him. To Frances, this was childish and disturbing. She simply didn't find it funny. The tension between them was an open secret on set. A cruel irony, since on screen they played aunt and nephew with unwavering familial love. For 10 years, they maintained the perfect charade. Only before dying in 1989 did Frances call Andy and apologize for being difficult during filming. Decades of tension were finally addressed in those final moments. And there's more. Remember the show's opening, with little Opie throwing a rock into the lake? Well, that was completely fake. Ron Howard was only 6 years old and wasn't strong enough to throw the rock all the way to the water. After several failed attempts, the production team hid a man behind a bush. When Opie pretended to throw, this man would throw another rock that reached the lake. If you watch carefully, you'll notice a slight delay between Opie's motion and the splash in the water. Even that iconic and innocent moment was a carefully constructed illusion. The cast didn't let Andy escape his pranks unpunished either. Once, they stole one of his dress shoes and hid it. Andy was forced to go home wearing his big sheriff boots, a humiliation everyone celebrated. On another, more explosive occasion, a crew member disguised himself as a hotel waiter and went to deliver dinner to Andy's room during a trip. When the door opened, he caught Andy in a compromising position with Annetta Corsaw, the actress who played Helen Crump. The prank revealed the secret romance between them, something that could have destroyed the show in conservative 1960s America. Andy's image was that of a dedicated widower and exemplary father. Everyone became accomplices in the secrecy. There were also genuinely touching moments. Howard McNear, the beloved chatty barber Floyd, suffered a devastating stroke in 1963, severely paralyzing his left side. For any other show, this would be the end of the character, but the cast refused to let him go. The writers created scenes that allowed Floyd to always be seated and built a special stool that gave the illusion he was standing. McNear continued until 1967, proving that when it really mattered, that fake family knew how to be real. The Andy Griffith Show ended in 1968 while still at the top of the ratings, an achievement reached by only 3 shows in history: I Love Lucy, Seinfeld, and Mayberry. But the end didn't bring peace. Frances Bavier isolated herself in Siler City until she died alone. Don Knotts went on to a successful career, but carried in his eyes a subtle sadness when they mentioned the 5th season. Andy lived until 2012, long enough to see Mayberry become more real to many Americans than their own towns. Mount Airy, his hometown that inspired Mayberry, became a shrine for fans. Ron Howard, little Opie who couldn't read at 6 and needed people to memorize lines with him, grew up to be one of Hollywood's most respected directors. He never forgot the lessons. It was warm and funny, like the show. I learned that hard work and fun were not diametrically opposed. The legacy of The Andy Griffith Show is complex. On the surface, it's pure nostalgia, honesty, hard work, neighborhood, family. But the deeper truth is that this sublime art was created even as personal relationships were shattering. Each episode was a small miracle considering the underlying tensions. Each laugh was earned despite unshared tears. The real magic of Mayberry wasn't the fiction on screen. It was the fiction they maintained off it. The daily performance of pretending everything was fine when it was falling apart. And perhaps that's exactly why it resonates so deeply. Everyone understands what it's like to smile when you want to cry, to continue when you want to quit. Mayberry wasn't perfect inhabited by perfect people. It was imperfect inhabited by imperfect people doing their best. The greatest creations often arise not from harmony, but from conflict. Are you enjoying this story, The Andy Griffith Show? Then help the channel with your subscription. Look, 94.8% of the people who watch these videos are still not subscribed to the channel. If you are part of that group, take the chance and subscribe now. It's free, and that way you'll keep receiving amazing stories from TV shows we still miss. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one, The Andy Griffith Show. The chemistry between Andy and Don was real, but complicated by broken promises. The family dynamic hid mutual antipathy. The iconic scenes were born from professional panic. Nothing was as it seemed, and yet it worked perfectly. Because Mayberry was never about a small town. It was about who we are when nobody's watching, about how we treat others when tested. We are human, flawed, and magnificent, capable of betrayal and loyalty, conflict and creation, just like the inhabitants of Mayberry always were.